Welcome back to the 15-day Executive Factory Coaching Program. My name is Lloyd Ross, and I'm here to talk to you about day 5 and page 6 of your goal-getting workbook. Okay, so pull out your workbook, page 6, and of course, today is about sharing your story. So yesterday we did developing your story, and today, of course, we're going to teach you how to share your story. Because, as my dad says, you can't sell a secret. Okay, even though we've got the superfood secret and the side hustle secrets. Everyone loves a secret, okay, and all secrets get out, but you can't sell a secret. You need to be able to get it out there in the marketplace, okay? So Isagenic's best kept secret ever. We need to be able to share our story, okay, to communicate that. And so sharing your story is day 5, page 6. So sharing your story, how do we share our story now that you have it? There's so many different ways to share your story. You could share your story. I used to share my story at boot camp. I was running alongside someone, and when the early days of building Isagenix business, I'm like, go talk about Isagenix. And I'd be running along, and they'd be like, so how's it going? I'm like, yeah, pretty good. I've just lost 14 kilos. I'm feeling amazing. I did this new program the other day. It's just working really well. They're next to me. Am I still in the frame? They're next to me. Oh yeah? Really? What's it called? Me. I'll send you some information later, but it's really good. Right? So I was just sharing a little version of my story that I'd lost 14 kilos in this system, and they wanted more information. So you can share little pieces of your story, you can in person, or you can share your whole thing in person. So I was in F45 gym the other day, for example, not the other day, probably about 8 weeks ago. And one of the trainers there, she was on her phone and on Instagram, I think. And I said, oh, hey, do you earn income from your Instagram account? She's like, no, but that sounds awesome. I'm like, yeah, it's really cool to be able to earn income from social media. And I said, that's what we do. She's like, really? I'm like, yeah, how many followers you got? She's like, 80,000. I'm like, cool. I used to always want to make money from my social media. I didn't really know how until I got into network marketing, which is what we do with Isagenix. And now we're able to actually earn income from all of our followers, okay? Because they're potential customers, we help them out and we get paid for it. So yeah, that's what we do. And she's like, that sounds really cool. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. If I could send you some stuff, would you? So I was starting to then move into getting some information to her. So I shared a little bit of a story about how we had done it when I was talking to her. I went into more detail. Don't worry about my whole story. I didn't want to do it with you today. But you can share your story in person is what I'm trying to say. Okay, it's the most effective way to get your message to someone is to say it belly to belly, face to face. Because as you're talking to someone and telling your story, they're not on their phone, they're not on their email, they're not on their computer, they're not with their kids or they're right there listening to you. It's the most effective form of communication today. Mouth to mouth, belly to belly, okay? So you can share your story that way. That's the most traditional way. That's why you've got to know your story. You've got to practice it over and over again, okay? Now, the cool thing about your story is it's just a recount, an actual historical account of what happened. So if you're ever worried about how do I tell my story, just go back to what actually happened and tell them the truth. Tell them the truth about what actually happened. Tell them the truth about how you actually felt about it. I didn't think it was going to work. It's just another shape thing. It's so expensive. But then I realized it was a real place. You can bring up all those concerns you had. It makes it more real. It's authentic. So share your story in person. Learn how to do it by practicing it often, okay? Now, not every time you're going to share your story, are you going to get a response like that. Some people are going to go, sounds great. They don't care. That's okay, all right? But the more often you share your story each day, the more chance you're going to have someone to say, hey, can you send me some information? All right? So remember, marketing is telling your story, okay? So the other ways you can share a story, we're so lucky to be able to share our story at scale. What do I mean by at scale? Well, if I put a post on Facebook and tell a story, or I do a Facebook Live and tell my story, or I go into Facebook Stories and Instagram Stories and share my story, I can actually share my story with 250 people or 500 or 600 people in one go, okay? So social media has allowed us to share our story, get our message out there to all of our potential customers for free, at scale. That means we don't have to always go and meet people talking face to face and tell our stories all the time like the old days. We get to do it once on social media, reach all these people, and we get to do it for free. Oh my God, we don't have to pay for it. Traditional business, old days, you have to put story ads out in magazines and in cinema advertising and stuff like that. You don't need to do that anymore. It's free, okay? So you could share your story on Facebook as a post. You could share your story in Messenger to your friend. You could share your story in an email to a friend. You could share your story in a text message to your friend. When I first started and I got results, true story, I actually remember getting my before and after photo. And remember, a before and after photo, a photo or a picture tells 1,000 words, okay? So the biggest part of your story, your origin story, is actually your photo. So make sure you've got a good before and after photo. So when I finished my first 60 odd days thereabouts, I remember taking my before and after photo. We put it next to each other, Alicia and I was like, whoa, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, I lost my beer belly. I need to get this, I need to share my story with my friends because I know they're probably struggling like I was. I knew they were. So I grabbed my story and I just started text messaging it because I didn't use Facebook back then. I didn't use Messenger. I didn't even have an Instagram account. It was about 5 years ago. And I just had text messages how we communicated. So I just sent him my picture. I'm like, hey, check this out. That was my whole freaking story. I was like, hey, check this out. And then my whole picture did all the storytelling for me, right? This is before I knew how to tell a story and stuff. But it worked because within probably 2 weeks or so, I had 2 or 3 friends get started on the program and I got paid like, I think it was like $500 or $600. So you don't have to be an expert to do this. You just have to be able to share your story on the platform that's most comfortable to you. So if you've got an email address or text messages, that's fine too. Messenger's good. Instagram stories, Facebook Live, Instagram Live. Just, there's so many ways to share your story, okay? You can blog about it, there's many ways. So the idea is just to do it, just to share it somehow. And the more ways you're sharing it, if you're doing all those at once, you're like boom, 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 boom. More eyeballs on your story means more requests for information to get started, which means more customers, which means more money, okay? More impact. So it's really important that you share your story. Now, I know that when you first share your story, it's super confronting because you're like, oh my God, I'm in my knickers. If you're a girl, if you're a guy, you're in your undies and whatever you're in, and you've got your stuff hanging out and you're like, don't know if I want to share this. I know it's kind of freaky, but I promise you, like once you do it, you're going to be so liberated because you're going to be like, hey, here's me, here's my story. And you're going to inspire everyone. I've never known anyone in the history of our journey with this, I've never known anyone to share their story and get hate. Truly, I've never known it to ever exist, okay? So don't feel worried about that, okay? People are going to judge you whether you do it or you don't do it. If you don't share your story, you're going to get judged because you don't have enough courage. If you share it, you're going to get judged because whatever the case may be, you're always going to get judged, okay? So don't worry. Just think about the people you can inspire. Think to yourself, what if the person that started me on this journey never posted their story on Facebook? Would I have ever found it? What if that person who started me on this journey never told me their story in person? Would I have ever started? So stop thinking of yourself and start thinking of the people you can help. And that will help you overcome any barriers you've got to sharing your story, okay? So the best way is just to do it. I remember when Alicia shared her story for the first time, she shared it and she's like, oh my God, she put her phone under the pillow and like just left the room. She's like, hang on. So that's all normal. We went through the same thing, okay? So don't worry too much. Just do it. So the task for today is for you to obviously share your story, okay? Get that secret out there, because that's how you're going to attract customers. So there's 3 tasks for you to do today, all right? And this is the most tasks we've had in one day, but I think you're ready for it. So the first task is to post your picture, or your before and after photo, and your story. So at the same time, you put a picture in a story, and post it to Facebook, okay? And if you've got Instagram, do it on there too. Okay, that's the first task, right? When that happens, people are going to start commenting, going, you're amazing, I love you, this is awesome, all that stuff. And people might say, oh, I want more information. Cool. The second task is I want you to message on Messenger or text or email, whatever it is, 5 friends, asking them 5 asks if they would like to learn more information about how you achieve these results. So if you go to your workbook on page 6, it's got the exact wording that you can use for sending that particular message out to your 5 friends. So 5 friends for people you think would be interested in a product result, a health result, a health outcome, a health solution. And then, once you've done that, I want you to send 5 asks, messages, to another different 5 friends about the income opportunity. Would you be interested in leveraging social media to create a second income? No worries, just thought I'd ask. Like that message you'll see in the workbook on page 6. So the idea is to send to post your photo and story on Facebook or Instagram, to send 5 messages to people about the products, and 5 messages to people about the income opportunity, okay? This is where, when you send it, you're gonna have to just forget about the outcome, okay? People aren't going to, they're just gonna say 3 things. They're either gonna say yes, they're either gonna say no, or they're either gonna say maybe, and maybe's also like, I'm not replying. That's the 3 outcomes, okay? There's no outcome amongst that where you can actually die, I promise, okay? So, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is how you do this is how you do network marketing. This is the action that you got to take, okay? So once you get through this, everything is downhill from here. I assure you, it's so much simpler and easier after this. This is the hardest part of this challenge is going to be this task, okay? But I believe in you. You can do it, all right? So there's the task. That's day 5, page 6. Go do it. Release from the outcome. Think about others and just go do it, okay? Once you're done, I'll see you tomorrow for day 6.